Hello, I'm Karim Adduci. I live in Amsterdam West, and I'm going to read the story from Warda El Kaddouri that she interviewed 5 people from Amsterdam West. And this is the story from Richard. Tipping Point, the story of Richard Marquez. I'm Richard Marquez. I'm a musician and voice teacher, drummer and actor. I have been living in Amsterdam since 2016. I live in Amsterdam West with my wife and 6-year-old daughter. It has been a challenge to start over in a new country, especially as an artist. And now, with the pandemic, it's even harder. We came from LA on a tourist visa, but at the end of those 3 months, we realized that this could work, so we applied to stay on through the Dutch American Friendship Treaty, which allows Americans to get residence based on entrepreneurship. We started a business, Vibration Arts, allowing us to work as freelancers. In a country, it's a struggle to be an artist, but in LA it was a lot easier, partly because I had lived there my whole life and I had worked professionally as an actor and musician since I was 15. Also, it's a big city, known for its acting and music industry, with plenty of work and opportunities. It was predictable that it would take time to get into my feet here. Starting fresh with no contacts or history, when the pandemic hit, I was just getting into a rhythm. Then I had to change gears. My lessons flipped to online. I have been able to teach music from home via Skype and Zoom. I teach drum set, percussion, and music composition in various genres, including the Afro-Cuban tradition and American classic technique. I wouldn't mind continuing teaching this way because it enables me to work remotely and opens up teaching possibilities beyond Amsterdam. It's funny because just this morning, an old client from mine from LA sent me an email about resuming lessons. That's possible now, and it's pushing me to think beyond these borders. But my live gigs and recordings have stopped almost completely during this time. When Operatie Periscoop came up with the idea of including musical performance as a part of their kayak tours through the canals of Erasmus Park, I was happy to be invited as one of the artists. It was really a beautiful idea. To be able to play, and with the social distancing, people in kayaks were able to pull up and watch the various musicians perform. I sang and I played the Afro-Cuban bata drums. It was in the summertime, 5 months into lockdown. Before that, back in May, I was part of another interesting social distancing event, the balcony serenades in Bosselommer. We were in a large interior gardens performing the residents who watched from their balconies. It was so nice to perform in that setting. I was singing and drumming with another drummers and dancers. It was a spontaneous act. People didn't know in advance that we were showing up. They came up on their balconies and listened. Some kids were out playing and watched from their garden, but from a distance. It was very calming and relaxing. The vibrations I sent out did their job. I was playing an Afro-Cuban song of Babalu Ai. He is a healer and protector in the Yoruba Orisha tradition. In the tradition, among other things, he is seen as the giver and taker of infectious diseases. He has the power to give them to you, but also to protect you from them. It seemed like the perfect occasion at the time when the whole world was facing the threat of this virus. To be able to invoke this energy to heal, if we were going to put out musical vibrations to the community, then why not Babaluaye? It seemed like a perfect fit to call upon him in these times. You know, the musical and spiritual are deeply connected, especially when you think about the power of vibration. For example, when you throw a pebble into the water, the ripple keeps going even beyond what the eye can see. The same happens with the vibration of a performance like ours. It spreads. You should know, through. We also got a couple of eggs thrown at us. Maybe they were from children or people who were scared. We bought positive energy to heal with our open hearts, but that doesn't mean it's going to be perceived that way. That person chose, for whatever reason, to throw back negativity. For a lot of people, I'm sure it was a delightful afternoon that brought them entertainment. For others, maybe the drums take them somewhere they are not ready to go, especially because it's in the telling of a story that comes from an African tradition. Being told through this performance here in a white dominant country. The Afro-Cuban pantheon of Orishas originated from the West Africa. Traditionally, in any storytelling performance of Babalu Aye, he always came to the scenes infected, either with some smallpox or leprosy. The dancer who portrays him begins the performance sick and crippled, using a cane for support. Through music and song, the blessing he receives from others Orishas. He is healed to the point that he drops this cane and dances dynamically as the higher, divine force that he is. Due to the Cuban heritage and love of the Afro-Cuban battle drum, it makes sense that this is the tradition that resonates with him. I love sharing with others, but I'm also inspired to learn more about similar traditions of peoples of Suriname and other former Dutch colonies. I think it's relevant for all these people of the Netherlands to learn from the rich traditions of these cultures. They can help people to unite and heal. But in order to heal, people need to first face the truth about the past, especially slavery and colonialism. Then people need to address the present day legacy of these practices, that they are currently alive and well in the form of racism, inequality, and lack of opportunity. If you can't acknowledge these issues and openly discuss them, then healing can't take place. I'm of a Cuban and Arab descent, right? 6 feet tall, male. For me, being racially profiled is part of life. And I know other people have it much worse, because all they know, darker you are, the more racism you face. So it's something I talk about, not just because of my own experience, but of my own concerns for others who have it worse. I obviously know more about American slavery than I do about Dutch slavery, but I have found in my time here that many people are unwilling to talk about it, especially white Dutch who consider themselves to be progressive. When I have asked them about Dutch slavery and colonialism, they get really defensive and tight. It is if the word slavery scares them, and they do everything to deny its existence. When people are so tight and repressed, the truth can't come out. And it silences those people who have already suffered for too long and have to watch their children deal with the same legacy. As long as we don't talk about it, there can be no healing process. So there is a choice that has to be made. For example, do you want to keep going with it, a racist tradition like Zwarte Piet, which uses blackface to degrade and hurt people of color? Or do you want to alter these aspects of tradition that celebrate slavery and instead makes changes that will allow all Dutch people to feel included and respected? If people choose to reject racism, then there is no need to be defensive and angry, because they can be a part of the positive change, which is the least they can do, by the way, and is the best thing for healing of their own souls. Eating the cuisine of former Dutch colonies isn't enough. Getting to know the people and their struggles and even learning from them, it's what's missing. There is so much richness and wisdom to learn from these cultures and embrace and integrate into a larger Dutch culture. When I think about the future, it comes down to taking responsibility for the past and not fearing the truth. It is not always easy to be fragile, but we have to be. The best people in the world are not crippled by their fears. They move beyond their fears towards the truth. Me, myself, I just try to be a vehicle for the music, grounding myself, doing meditation, playing drums, and doing voice and movement work to keep me balanced. When I do all of that, I'm ready for action. If I don't, I close down. I need to be connected to my body and mind. These are hard times. These are a lot of challenges now and still to come. We can take this opportunity though. The pandemic has slowed things down. We can face a lot we don't normally give time to look at. For me, it's all about healing. It's a babalu eye. It's a sickness slavery, human suffering. It's everything. Do we want to hate and be in conflict, or do we want to heal and come together? This is the time to really push things over. It's a tipping point. Tip it over.
Looking straight in the camera, right?
It was an intense story. You didn't tell me.
Oh, was it intense?
Yeah.
Did you cry?
No. But oh my god, it's so deep. Well, I guess I connect. Yeah, with the part where he had to adapt, coming over from LA and moving to Amsterdam and being in a new context and country. At least he spoke the language, so he had a positive side. But yeah, I remember the times I arrived here and I didn't speak the language, and then. But I also think the hardship it's what makes you stronger and you grow with it. So I connected with that side. And with the part of racism, I don't know, I'm very private about that and personal, and I think every person lives it differently. But I think Holland is a very open country. It's not, I don't think it's the most racist country in all the countries I have visited. So I think I have nothing to complain about that. But I do have empathy and understand his position because it's his experience and not mine, so I cannot judge. But it's my own perception.
And in the corona-related situation, is there any similarity?
Yeah, of course, I also lost clients and assignments and shows, but you have to find different ways. But I never took it personally because it was a global issue. It was there, so it wasn't my fault, it wasn't nobody's fault, it was just there. But I understand for a freelancer or an artist, we are already very fragile in society. So when a pandemic comes, we break, but we are also flexible to go through the cracks.